They lied to you. For 2 years straight, 2 years, WWE looked you dead in the eyes, pointed at Cody Rhodes, put that gold spotlight on him, and told you this was the guy. This was the story. The American Nightmare finishing his father's legacy at WrestleMania. The feel-good moment, the crowning achievement, the storybook ending every wrestling fan was supposed to weep over. And then, Randy Orton happened. The Viper struck, and just like that, your dream died on the grandest stage of them all. You want to talk about betrayal? You want to talk about a moment that physically broke the internet in half? We are going to break down, second by second, the most shocking, most controversial, most criminally underrated title change in WrestleMania history. The night Randy Orton coiled up, waited, and stole the WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes right when the whole world thought it was over. And if you think you're ready for this conversation, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you are going to have thoughts, you are going to have feelings, and you will be in the comments. Let's not pretend this came out of nowhere. That would be doing a disservice to the absolute masterclass of storytelling that WWE laid down in the months leading up to WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes had spent the better part of 2 years on the most emotionally resonant babyface journey this company had seen since the Attitude Era. From returning at WrestleMania 38 to that unforgettable moment where he wrestled Seth Rollins with a torn pectoral muscle looking like a purple balloon had replaced half his chest, Cody had made the entire world believe. Then came the Royal Rumble win. Then came the path to WrestleMania. The promos, the fire, the "I come from a family" of wrestlers who made grown men cry in their living rooms. And sitting on the opposite end of this story, the most dangerous man in WWE. A man who doesn't need catchphrases, a man who doesn't need pyro, a man who just needs 4 letters, RKO. Randy Orton's insertion into the WrestleMania main event picture was not loud, it was not explosive, it was exactly what you'd expect from a Viper. It was silent, patient, calculated. He had been working his way back, rebuilding his momentum, reminding everyone in that locker room and every single person in the audience that he is not a nostalgia act. He is not a legend on a farewell tour. He is a predator, and Cody Rhodes just happened to be the most valuable prey on the roster. Did you believe Randy Orton deserved a WrestleMania main event spot at this point in his career? Drop a yes or no in the comments and explain why. Here's what people don't give Randy Orton enough credit for. The man does not just wrestle you, he dismantles you psychologically before you ever lock up. The weeks leading into WrestleMania were a clinic. Orton wasn't running around cutting desperate over-the-top promos trying to convince you he was dangerous. He didn't need to. He'd walk out. He'd look at Cody. He'd smile that cold, reptilian smile. And in those moments, you'd feel it, that creeping dread that something was wrong. Cody, to his credit, was everything you want from a babyface heading into the biggest match of his career. He was fiery. He was emotional. He kept his fire. He kept his composure, mostly. But there were cracks. You could see them if you were paying attention. Every time Orton smiled at him, something flickered behind Cody's eyes. A hesitation, a microsecond of doubt.
The legacy connection was brought up. Of course it was. The history between their families, Ted DiBiase, Dusty Rhodes, the intertwining careers, it was all layered into this story like geological strata. This wasn't just Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. This was one bloodline trying to rise above another. And Orton made sure Cody never forgot where he came from, and more importantly, how many times people from that bloodline had fallen just short. It was cruel, it was beautiful, it was professional wrestling at its finest. Let's talk about the stadium for a second, because the atmosphere walking into that WrestleMania was unlike anything in recent memory. The crowd was split, and that's not something WWE gets to say very often in a main event anymore. It wasn't 50-50 in terms of cheers. Cody had the majority, no question. But there was a significant, vocal, passionate contingent of Randy Orton fans who had been waiting for this, who had never stopped believing that the Legend Killer deserved one more run at the top, one more moment where the whole world had to acknowledge that when it matters most, there is no one more dangerous than Randy Orton. The entrances alone deserve their own video. Cody came out with the full production. The music swelled, the pyro hit, the crowd erupted in a way that gave you goosebumps. And then Orton's music hit. That slow, deliberate pound, the lights shifting, and a man who has been doing this for over 2 decades, walking to that ring with the same terrifying calm he's always had. No theatrics, no gimmick, just a killer walking to work. The air in that stadium changed. You could feel it through your screen. Who had the better WrestleMania entrance, Cody or Randy? Tell me in the comments, and be honest. Don't just answer based on
who you were rooting for. The opening minutes of this match were a chess game, neither man overcommitting, both feeling each other out. Cody trying to establish his pace, that explosive, offense-heavy style that had carried him to every big moment over the last 2 years. And Orton doing what Orton does, absorbing, waiting, letting his opponent think they have control. The first major sequence came when Cody hit the Cody Cutter, or his version of it, and the crowd erupted. For a moment, it felt like the script was playing out exactly as written. Cody was going to finish the story tonight. The crowd was willing him to it. But Randy Orton absorbed it, rolled to the outside, composed himself, and when he came back in, something had shifted. He was no longer just defending, he was hunting. The RKO out of nowhere attempt, the first one, was ducked, countered into a roll-up that got a 2 count, and the crowd lost their minds. Both men scrambled back to their feet, and the pace that followed was absolutely blistering for a main event at this stage of the show. The near falls in the middle portion of this match were absolutely sadistic. Cody hit Cross Rhodes the first time, 2 count. The crowd's hope surged. Orton kicked out with authority, practically launching Cody off him. The second Cross Rhodes, 2.5. The referee's hand hit the mat twice and froze, and for 1/2 second, every single person in that stadium held their breath. And then came Randy Orton measured Cody up. The crowd started screaming, "No, not the punt! Don't do it!" Cody stirred, started getting to his feet. Orton coiled back. Cody dodged it. The crowd exploded. Cody dodged the punt. He spun off the ropes. Cross Rhodes.
Number 3. Incoming. Orton ducked under, spun Cody around on the rebound, and in the time it takes to blink, the most vicious, most precise, most terrifyingly beautiful RKO you have ever seen in your life. Cody hit the canvas like a building being demolished. 1, 2, 3. And the arena went silent. Not quiet, silent. That specific, haunting silence that only happens at a wrestling event when something deeply shocking has just occurred. When the finish wasn't what anyone expected. When the storybook got closed before the last chapter was read. Randy Orton, 38 years old, a man who had fought through serious spinal injury to even be in this ring, pinned Cody Rhodes clean in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania and became the WWE Champion. Where were you when that 3 count happened? What was your immediate reaction? Drop it in the comments. I want to read every single one. Now, here's where I need you to stop being emotional for just a moment. I know, that's asking a lot. And actually think about what this result means for WWE as a whole. Cody Rhodes not winning the title at WrestleMania does not mean his story is over. In fact, some of the most compelling championship journeys in wrestling history have involved setbacks at the biggest moment. Steve Austin losing to Shawn Michaels, Daniel Bryan's path being waylaid before his coronation. Sometimes the story is better when the hero doesn't win immediately. Sometimes the mountain needs to be climbed twice.
But let's be honest about what Orton winning does mean. It means WWE's creative team looked at the roster, looked at the narrative landscape, and decided that the most compelling story they could tell involved the most cunning, most experienced, most ruthless opportunist in company history holding the belt. Because Randy Orton as WWE Champion in 2025 is not a nostalgia booking decision. It is a statement. It is WWE saying, we have a man who can work with anyone on this roster and make it feel important. He can work heel, he can work tweener. He can deliver promos that make you believe every single word. He is a heat machine. He is a reaction machine. He is a champion machine. And Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes just became a man on a mission, a man with unfinished business, a man who will be chasing the title that was taken from him in the most brutal, most spectacular fashion possible. Tell me that's not compelling television. Go ahead, tell me. Is this better for Cody's story long-term, or did WWE just make a massive mistake? I genuinely want to debate this in the comments. Go. Let's zoom out and put this in historical context. Randy Orton has now won the WWE Championship across all its various configurations and iterations more times than most wrestlers have had title matches. Every single time someone has counted him out, he has come back and found a way to remind the industry of exactly who he is. The injury that almost ended his career, the spinal fusion surgery, the years of doubt about whether he'd ever compete again at a high level, all of that context flooded back in the moment that referee's
hand hit the mat for 3. Because this wasn't just Randy Orton winning a title. This was Randy Orton completing one of the most remarkable comeback stories in professional wrestling history. And the beautiful, ironic, almost poetic cruelty of it all? He did it by taking that moment from Cody Rhodes, a man whose own story is built on fighting through adversity, overcoming the odds, refusing to let his family legacy define the ceiling of his success. 2 men. 2 legacies, 2 stories of perseverance and pain. And at WrestleMania, only one of them got to stand on top of the mountain. That is professional wrestling at its absolute peak. That is the reason this art form, and yes, I will call it an art form, has endured for decades. Because when it's done right, it makes you feel something. It makes you angry. It makes you invested. It makes you come back every single week to see what happens next. And right now, I don't know about you, but I am coming back. So, here's where I land on this whole thing. Randy Orton winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania by defeating Cody Rhodes is one of the most legitimately shocking, emotionally charged, narratively rich outcomes the company has produced in years. Whether you are furious about it or you think it was the right call, you care. And in professional wrestling, caring is everything. The Viper waited, the Viper struck, and the American Nightmare woke up without his title. What happens next is going to define the next chapter of WWE's biggest stories, and you better believe we are going to be here every single step of the way to break it all down for you on Wrestling Court.
Now, I've got 4 comment questions scattered through this video, and I want answers to all of them. But if you answer only one, answer this. Who do you think benefits more from this WrestleMania result long-term? Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes? Drop it below, right now. Don't think too long. If this video got you fired up, good. That means it did its job. Hit the like button. Share this with every wrestling fan you know, especially the ones who are still upset. And subscribe to Wrestling Court if you haven't already, because we are just getting started. The story isn't over. It's only just beginning. Drop your WrestleMania hot takes below. We read every comment. See you in the next one.